Okay, so let's call to order then at 6:04. Thanks, Ella, for doing minutes.
Yeah.
Do we have any members of the public that would like to make a comment before that's for something not on the agenda? Okay, great. Would anyone like to add anything to the agenda? I wasn't able to get a draft out like I'd like to most months. Does anyone have anything they want to add that wasn't on there?
I have one item to add, but I think
Perfect.
it can come under Conservation Commission membership. So.
Awesome, that's great. Okay. Okay, just to the agenda. Can we review and approve the minutes of September 12th? Anyone like to do that?
I'll motion to approve them.
Sounds great. I'd like to second that motion.
Okay.
Perfect. We'd like to move to approve the minutes. Anyone want to do that? Yes? Ayes? All in favor? Thank you. Perfect. Okay, well, that'll pass at 50% quorum. Okay, any correspondence? Not from outside our group. And then new business can start right now. Perfect. So we have a new programs coordinator at the rec department. And so Aiden's joining us now to just so we can be introduced to you and we can all chat about what we all do and see where we can find commonalities and new projects and stuff.
So I'm Aiden Lenahan. I am the new rec department programs coordinator as well as parks manager. So I'll be in charge of our green spaces and implementing any sort of projects and maintenance with those spaces. So that would be like all the parks, Eagle Park, Sycamore Park. There's a new space that you guys will be talking about, Seth Hill, at some point. So
I think that's actually a very old space.
No,
the time forgot.
Completely new to me. But with that, just working with the commission to create synergy between rec or myself and Meredith to help keep maintenance programs full speed moving forward.
That's awesome. So do you have any questions for us on what we do with the parks currently?
Yeah, I just wanted to sit in and get a feel for what projects you have implemented, maintenance programs. I reviewed Helen Young's maintenance initiative of what you guys put together last year, and then I kind of wrote a short little action statement, phase statement regarding Sycamore Park and the overgrowth and the maintenance that it needs, that's due. And so I can talk a little bit more about that later, or I have this little packet I can yeah. So if you have a moment, basically with Sycamore Park, I've been going to all the parks and kind of getting a lay of the land. Sycamore Park in particular needs some maintenance due to overgrowth, especially with invasive knotweed, some huckleberry and some other just brushiness, ground cover that's creeping into the lawn space. So I'm working on an initial action with Eric Coda, the road foreman, to bring the tractor and mower deck that they use for riprap around the roads to kind of cut out a lot of pathways that are overgrown to make it more accessible for a future maintenance project phases beyond that. There's a lot of fallen limbs and just hazardous areas where it makes it really congested and hard for any recreational person to traverse from space to space. So I kind of put a list together of that, which also has references that'll be linked to Helen's papers. So yeah, basically that would be like the first initial approach would be just like I went down there and I made sight lines and marked a lot of bushels of knotweed and things and obstructions, until, for me, I'm happy to do groundwork there and initiate that. I have to get certified through chainsaw program just for the town. I am totally experienced doing chainsaw work. I've done it all my life, but for the town, I have to go through this initial phase. So in this initial action, we're just going to work on managing the ground cover and overgrowth that can be accessed with a machine through the parking space
Mhm.
into the initial first field, and then do what we can around the perimeter, and then approach any other open field spaces that connect that the machine can access. But overall, we want to make those pathways wide enough for a machine, so that would be 11 feet on center of a pathway on either side for them to be able to go through and keep that back. So
That would be literally huge and
Yeah.
basically, I suppose.
yeah, right now some of those pathways are
A
a
foot.
foot or 2 or 3, especially
Yeah.
the most critical part, and kind of like the catalyst for this approach is the path between the shoreline and back into the park. Like if there was something to happen during a program,
Mm.
or just for anybody who's hanging out there, it would be hard for anyone to access help.
Yeah.
So it's pretty overgrown, and me and Eric kind of surveyed the land and figured out like what the best approach was, because you can't get a machine in there to do that work, because it's a lot of handwork. There's a lot of handwork, and just, it's gonna take many phases to get it to where the egress is wide enough and accessible for somebody to bring a stretcher down there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So,
cool. It's great to have someone with your skill set and your background in this new position, so.
Mhm.
yeah,
it's
I'm
awesome.
excited to have a, annual or every 6 month kind of approach about checking the parks, because part of making my rounds is just checking the parks anyways. Like, I'm gonna have to check Sycamore Park every week
Mhm.
of the year. So I just want to create like a system in which
Yeah.
works with you guys to let you know what's going on, and then I can implement like some actions and coordinate with your actions what we can do. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
Very great.
I remember you sent an email, and that's one communication I guess we got in the interim, was you sent an email to the commission about folks that were staying there overnight.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
that was
park.
my like second
Yeah.
visit there. My initial visit was with Meredith to be like, these are things that we should try and work on. And I was like, great, for maintenance. And then the next time I came down to take some measurements and do some surveying and tagging, there was a pretty rough and tough encampment there.
Yeah.
I just coordinated with Officer Francis, and they were out the next day, and I came back down there, and they were basically we're trying to make a permanent encampment with a camper that was pretty dilapidated, and a truck that didn't look roadworthy,
Wow.
and very caravan-esque type of travelers, we'll call them. So, but they were throwing their bags of house trash bags of garbage into the bush, and I had to pull out probably like half a truckload worth
Wow.
of trash. So,
Wow.
and bottles and cans.
Yeah, thank you for
what have
managing
you.
that.
Yeah, no problem. But maybe, there is signage there
Mhm.
it's basically
Dawn to
pack in,
dusk.
pack out, dawn to dusk.
Dawn to dusk,
Yeah.
yeah.
The gate was also unlocked too.
Was it?
So
So that's how they got in.
Oh,
well, they
that's
were already
amazing.
there, but the
Okay.
gate was just, they're holding court in the parking
Oh,
lot,
got
so,
Yeah.
Yeah.
the gate was open as well, and I
Yeah.
need to go down there to take measurements for Eric, so we could make sure that the machine
Mhm.
could pass through there without, any
Yeah.
sort of
I think
issue.
this is the second time we've had something like this in the last.
And
year or
it's
two.
gonna
Who
happen,
knows? Yeah.
it's tucked away, geographically, it's like down below the road, and there's traffic there, a lot of traffic there, and if somebody wants to like kind of
Definitely,
tucked
yeah.
down there, they can, you know, in
Yeah.
the wintertime, not so much, but.
Yeah, but you even see trucks will pull over there and people eat their lunch and they just like
Mhm.
drive out again, you know,
Yeah.
it's like a nice.
And
little
and
spot.
people,
Yeah.
they're litter bugs, we'll call them, you know, there's people are
Mhm.
gonna just throw it
Mhm.
out the window and. So, you know, weekly, I'll just make my rounds
Yeah.
and we have a little pack and, you know, some tools and bags and picker uppers and things like that to just make those rounds and keep it tidy,
Cool.
and dispose of the trash
Thanks.
properly, yeah.
But yeah, in Sycamore, what do? We have, there's that pollinator garden.
Yeah.
It's just on the side when you come in. That's a project that was started by the Bristol Trail Network. And Porter is cognizant of it being a trial and it's not sure if it's working or not. And Helen Young helped with some of the plantings and weeding with some of
Mhm.
Porter's interns. And they got the Be the Change guy.
Yeah,
What's his name?
Pollinator, I forget his name.
Anyhow, but they put some more pollinator plants in there. Recently seeded those. And they've been sort of like still trying to figure out if they want to keep it or if they want to mow it. They can't
Mhm.
decide. The two of them have run that project.
Mhm.
And then we have the kiosk there
Mhm.
that, did Pete build that, right?
Pete,
Did he build that
I don't
one?
think he
Can't
built that
remember.
one. It
Okay.
was there a long time.
Okay,
Yeah, we have the kiosk, we have a couple nature trails in the
Mhm.
park.
and then there's the apple trees as well.
And the apple
Yep.
trees, yeah.
Apple trees are great, I got to pick some and
Nice.
eat
Oh,
them, they were
nice.
very, very good.
Okay.
Eric didn't even realize they were down there and I was
Yep.
like, he's like, oh, I missed them, like, yeah, they're all picked. But I was like, oh, now I know, and I was like, that's great.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, they were planted by the Edith Stock Trust to help encourage
Yes.
like wildlife.
yeah,
and
it's
birds and
great.
stuff in the park. And
One thing I noticed with the kiosk is I found the glass paneling on the ground
Uh,
that covers it, so, it's a heavy piece of glass, we have it stored here at the hall in the side entry, lower entry for ADA access, we have it tucked in
Mhm.
behind the stairwell, with some, laminates that fell out as well.
Mm,
So, I have those and, at some point we can get it back in there, but just to address you guys, in terms of that
Mhm.
issue, so.
yeah, and the key maintenance mostly has been whoever's in your position partnering with people at BCC to be
Yeah,
like, hey,
sure.
we should go and, you know, put a better cork board, we should put up new
Right,
signs, we
sure.
sort of every so often, so I do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know I fell down though, we have to have, there's a little brochure, there's a little thing that's got flat,
Yep,
we have brochures for there too, that we fill every so often.
mhm.
There's
That
nice.
show like the nature spots and some historical information with the flu, from
Mhm.
the flood chute and stuff.
Flood shoots where the river's been.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then people from the commission have been pruning those apple trees as well.
that's great, yeah.
Yeah. So that's Sycamore Park, I think.
Mhm.
There's also the parking area there that I think was it Alex and the road crew coordinated to do a big gravel dump in
Meredith,
there. Was it
yeah,
Meredith? I can't remember who did
Recently,
that.
real recently, Meredith
It
worked
looks
with Eric.
nice
Coda.
right
Yep.
now.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have any potholes,
Yeah.
it's like pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
You know, visually entering the park, it looks really good.
Mhm.
It's just as you go in, you know, it's the Japanese knotweed is really just
Yeah.
super invasive and part of that, you know, later phases is, and I was talking to Meredith with this is when we cut it down, it'll just lay and then shoots will come back up again. It's pretty aggressive stuff.
Yeah.
And in the lawn areas where there's just, you can see daylight through it, and you know, it's not growing around a tree, those patches will be taken out of the lawn. But to really get it out of that area so it doesn't seed, and this is what I had to do at Rockydale with the bamboo there, is you have to take a small excavator and just pull the root system out. And I talked to Eric Coda, or I talked to Brett LaRose in regards of you pull that out, you put it in a pile in the parking lot, it dries out, and then you can just touch it off and burn it.
Mhm.
And then that'll eradicate it as best, that's the best. And I mean, maybe you guys know a better way, but in terms of its approach for mitigating Japanese knotweed, it's
Yeah.
really robust.
Mhm.
So then that's the only way that I've known how to do it.
Yeah, obviously,
So-
we've had no good ideas because we don't even know a good idea to deal with those paths, right? That's
Yeah,
gonna last.
Yeah.
it's worth trying though.
I mean, for like in the lawn area, I think that would be, I mean, you can't do this everywhere, but in the lawn area. In the lawn area. It would be good just to get, there's a couple of patches like as big as this table on then knotweed's like 8 feet high. And so we can just claw that back
Yeah.
once it's cut low, and then just pick it up
Yeah.
and move it and just burn it. I mean, you're not gonna get every little piece, you're
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
get some shoots here and there, but it'll be a lot. You
Yeah,
can,
worth
then
a
you can
shot,
manage
yeah.
it. You can
Yeah,
manage it.
totally.
So.
Yeah, over time that park's just gonna become knotweed.
And me and Eric talked about that, cause it will, you know, it's him being able to give like man hours to that, you know, so. It would be in like these small little phases, like the initial cutback. For the first time will be like a 6 hour donation of time to the park. So for man hours, and then, like I said, once I'm certified, I can implement myself into doing some, you know, saw work.
Excellent.
And get those paths cleaned up, and then we can chip up all the cuts. And then use that as a byproduct for, you know, trail paths, you know, so.
Cool.
So keep it all in house, not have to like transport a bunch of material out,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, I think the one thing I want to say with more is just that the way the land was deeded to the town is that you can't have any permanent structures. So if you get excited about, let's put in a staircase or a pavilion, that's gonna be hard to do there.
Yep.
Just to keep your eye on, it has to sort of stay natural. Because
Yeah,
that
yeah.
water comes up across there all the time.
Yeah, I mean, it's a 100-year floodplain, it's
Yeah.
flooded out a few times.
Yeah,
Knowing the
People
climate
often,
change pattern these days,
yeah,
I mean, anything can happen at any time.
yeah. People
Yeah.
often come to us, they're like, what if we put in a staircase? They're like, no, like, it'll wash out in a
Yeah,
year.
exactly.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah.
And then Eagle, we have the universal fishing platform at Eagle.
Yeah, I took some pictures and surveyed that and looked at, once the road opened up, we just looked at where that all looks, it looks really good. Those pathways and those areas, the only things I noticed was, it's just kind of, again, just getting grown in, but in a different way. That's more just light handwork and just dedicating some time just to opening things up a little bit and kind of getting them back to where they were. Meredith mentioned she had gone up there years past and done a little work. It doesn't need a whole lot. The picnic tables are looking a little tired, but other than that, like the platform and, you know, everything looks really good. And you know, there's a couple homemade fire pits and some of the little nooks.
Yeah.
That's cool. And then, you know, like the memorials and everything look really great. And, you know, I think maybe some of that vibe could be transferred to Sycamore Park, because I'm sure people have roots and history there. When it was Palmer's court. So maybe
Yeah,
something to consider, and
Mhm.
some more signage, and especially with the paths. I kind of got lost with Eric because we were like, oh, because this is drawn over, you have to go this, oh, okay, we'll go this way. So maybe, you know, looking into the future, maybe some permanent signage for just being like, to the river, like
Yeah.
to the parking lot, because it does become a little bit of a labyrinth, even when we can cut it back, it'll still, it's cool, it's a cool space.
It's like a corn maze, but with.
Yeah, a little
Yeah,
bit, like
yeah,
open little
exactly,
fields,
yeah.
little nooks, like, you know,
Yeah.
they don't know that dead end, so, yeah, just as
Yeah.
for orientation for
Yeah,
visitors,
totally.
yeah.
And there's Eagle and there's Memorial.
Haven't been up there yet, because I've been driving up there, but, not recently, they've been doing work up there, so I knew it wasn't accessible at that time, yeah.
Yeah, you know, Memorial's tricky because it's pretty dilapidated, and so it's really gorgeous though.
It is very gorgeous.
But it's a burden because you want to show people, but then it's not really that safe right now,
Right.
so.
One thing that we'd talked about on that regard, and I think actually remembering now, one of our notes from last meeting was to reach out to you guys about this, and then I forgot all about it. But there's a couple of, so the steps down to the original bridge there were just like 6x6s spiked into the ground with rebar, and those 6x6s have rotted away and rebar is sticking up. So we were just gonna either smack them into the ground with a maul if they can't be pulled out, or haul them out of there. But if that's if you feel like that's a suitable course of action, or open to whatever other ideas you've got for it. But it felt like something we ought to, just safety wise, be easy for somebody to slip down and spike
And Alex
themselves.
wanted to go out and do it vigilante style, and we said, you should ask Meredith first.
Yeah, I mean.
And then I forgot about it all.
I'm all about boots on the ground work. That's where all my experience comes from, is infrastructure. And as I have ideas for the for Bartlett's Falls as well. Growing up, I mean, my mother lives just right up the road, so it's part of my kind of backyard. But yeah, in terms of like access, safe access infrastructure down to to have river access is super critical. And you know, like, it needs to be, you know, addressed, and it can't be wonky and unsafe and slippery and snotty. And then once it's accessible to the public, because it's, you know, it's a liability and it's dangerous. And
Yeah.
so
Would you,
I can
what are
run
your
that.
thoughts on,
I
yeah,
can run that by Meredith and just kind of get our blessing, but and like I said, I haven't surveyed it, so I would be more than happy to help in any way I can. Either being there physically and doing it, or maybe figuring out, you know, a group of people to take on a bigger task, like getting it all fixed and figuring that out. Yeah.
It seems like the thing to do would just be to take it all out, or because
Right.
currently it just leads to the bridge, which is not really safe at the moment in the first place. And it doesn't actually, those steps never went down to the lower pool, which is steeper and steep to get to. So I don't really know that we're not going to put steps down to those. I don't know what the answer would be as far as like making it, you know, accessible, you know, to the lower pool without just scrambling down.
Right.
Which is where people would want to get. It's a pretty sweet spot down there, but it is I don't know what the solution would be to like inviting access to that, and maybe it would just be better not to.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the same thing with Bartlett's. Is like, it's a gray area in terms of like the way it's perceived in terms of maintenance. It's kind of like, here it is, like, but it's already there. The infrastructure is already there. So to take it away and not do anything with it, people would just, you know, there'd be a lot of pushback on that, I believe. So yeah, it's something we can address and figure out what the best course of action is. You know, if the rebar can be pulled out, or it can be cut out with a sawzall, or you know, any of those courses of action, and then figure out how to relay those steps and what that would take. You know, it's really just trying to figure out like a work scope, A, B, and C on financing that, and figuring out how much that's gonna cost, and then having infrastructure that we know can be robust and be permanent for a while without, you know, I'm not sure how long those steps have been there, so do you guys have any idea?
60s.
Yeah,
Long
so
enough to completely disintegrate. So
yeah, I mean,
All that's
so I
left
mean,
is
that's
the metal.
so it's 50 years. I mean, that's, you know, we'll say they were good for the last 40 years, and the last 20 years they've just been really bad on the bad end of it. But yeah, I mean, I think there could be something.
Yeah, Memorial's kind of a beast, so it'll be good to keep in touch about that. I think,
Yeah. I was just gonna mention that Meredith probably told you, but those 3 parks are also being reviewed right now under a separate grant that the town got to look at accessibility. And
Great.
so there's some design plans, concept designs that might move forward and have funding that could help afford some of these updates, so.
So to come back to you, Alex, about that, maybe that's, you know, I can follow up on that, and figure out like, okay, like it's moving forward, like that's gonna happen, and then that whole phase of the accessibility that can be fixed, like they'll have a plan for that, and we can be like, all right, so we're gonna just like make it, if you can't get down there right now, because it's just totally dangerous, then we can just implement a stop wall, so it's just like, you can't, this is under construction, like, just put that communication out there and that infrastructure to be like, this is in an initial phase of reconstruction, so.
Mhm.
Yeah, I guess following up with that and figuring out like how much money's there, what's, who can we get to do it?
Mhm.
What the designs are, what the material is and cost, so.
And then there's the Saunders River access, which you probably don't know exists, is my guess. Do
Yeah,
you want it? That's your baby. You want to talk about it?
Hi.
Guys,
Morning.
there's supposed to be a big debate upstairs, and I don't know if it's not open or anything,
I heard another person say that as well, and it starts at 7,
yeah.
so maybe it's a little early, but.
I was just gonna
Let me,
help with chairs, or I was gonna help.
I can,
Open?
somebody with key access, I'll be back.
Sure.
Okay,
Thanks.
What's the debate, Jamie?
I have no idea, another person
Oh, okay,
mentioned, on the sidewalk mentioned that there was gonna be.
awesome. Just to make it impossible for someone to follow this later, let's table this until Aiden comes back.
Right?
And we can move on to Conservation Commission membership. We have vacancy for 1 member. I have no other updates, but you thought you had something you could shoehorn into this?
Well, I don't have a new member candidate, but I did just want to take the opportunity to note the passing of a former Conservation Commission member, Katie Riley.
Oh my God.
Which Katie was a founding member of the commission in 2003 and served as clerk for 17 years. And as chair in her last appointed year, resigning in March of 2020. It was a shock to me too, because I was
Yeah.
traveling at the time that she passed, which was on the 10th of August.
Okay.
But for those who are interested, her obituary is in the Addy Indy. She was passionate about land conservation and preservation and worked as an environmental planner and permit specialist before her retirement. And she wrote the first management plan for Sycamore Park. And that's been kind of the guide or the template that we've used for all of our management plans. So I just wanted to acknowledge that her passing and what a strong contributing member of the commission that she was.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
maybe we could put something about that in the,
Repeat her name.
yeah.
yeah.
Can you
Pardon
repeat
me?
her name? Can you repeat her
Katie
name?
Riley. Katie Riley, Reilley. So, and I can send you that little blurb that we can put in the minutes.
That'd be great.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, I think the agenda too is, we just.
Her agenda, it's
this
her
is-
agenda.
I just edit it. Yeah,
Everything,
exactly.
there's-
That's everything, yeah.
Yeah, her
Wow.
imprint is long-standing in the commission,
Mhm.
so she was an original founding member.
Wow.
Passed away of cancer, melanoma, so.
Oh, God. Well, thank you for
Yeah.
that.
Mhm.
Maybe we'll put some of that in the annual.
Annual report too, we
Be
could add
nice.
that in there,
Yeah.
yeah, good idea.
Oh, man. That's sad. Okay, well, I guess if Aiden's coming back,
Is that, is Eden?
no, someone else, okay. Well, my goodness, I don't know what to say, that's so sad, but,
Yeah,
okay, well, I gotta process that, yeah, okay, well, I guess we should move on. To wildlife corridor project, this seems like a big one, but I guess it's the next order, so we might as well do it. So wildlife corridor project, I thought we talked about last time that we could hopefully discuss the final document we got from the Millbury students. And consider the state of the project thus far, any next steps. And so I created a Google Drive space where I then broke it down into the 4 projects we've had so far. The 2 Middlebury students did independent study projects, the Checking Connection, and then this latest environmental studies class did a really big, the big project. So I have those broken down into 4 different folders so you can see what goes into each of those.
Mhm.
And then I shared that with the link to everyone. Some people were added as editors if I could, but not everyone had a Gmail account. I won't name names, you know who you are. So I couldn't give everyone editing powers. But I attempted to when I was able to. to share that, because there's so much information in there. So yeah, and then we said we'd read those and think about what we want to do with the project, so that's where we're at right now. Thoughts?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a ton of information. It's really cool.
Mhm.
Um,
We had talked last meeting about getting in touch with Andrew LaRoe,
Mhm. At regional planning.
because we weren't sure who was taking the mantle that he had for the last town plan.
Right. Because the town plan is being updated every
7 years?
six or 7 or 8 years, something like that. It's due to
And we
be,
know that he wrote a big chunk in that role, but I think he's changed roles. So I thought we were gonna reach out to him and see who he thought was the new person that would do that.
right, and I think that was me that was supposed to reach
I
out
think so,
to
that's why I
him.
looked at you, but I didn't wanna say it, on camera.
No, that was my bad.
Okay.
I should have reached out.
That's fine. Cause it
And,
might be nice to hear if he could have, either he could talk about what happened last time with the process,
Mm-hmm,
and or if we could have the new person who would probably fill that role.
mm-hmm.
Or if we just have a new person in that role now that wants to come and talk to us about what that would entail, or what they would want from us, or what would be useful.
Yeah.
That could be nice, because we don't really know the best way to go about that, I don't think. I mean, I don't at least.
And we should also share the data with the planning commission at some point,
Mhm.
maybe reach out to have a joint meeting with them.
Yeah, maybe we
wasn't
should do
somebody
the,
going back to the planning commission?
what was
was it-
that?
Wasn't somebody going to start coordinating with the planning commission? Wasn't that, didn't Jono
Yeah.
say he was gonna talk to them? Something like that?
You don't recall.
I don't remember either.
But, oh, I'm drawing a blank. The chair came, what's his name?
The chair of the planning commission?
Yeah.
Kevin Hansen?
Kevin Hansen. It's like, I was my tongue. Kevin Hansen came to the students' talk.
Oh, did he?
Mhm, he
Oh,
was
good.
like,
Okay, excellent.
and he wanted a copy of their presentation,
Yep,
and then the students didn't give us anything until August because Alexis was worried about the quality of
yeah,
a
just do a
different.
final review, yeah.
She was worried about the quality from a different group
Oh,
and didn't want to release them
all the,
until everyone was released.
got
So
it,
she basically had to redo a bunch of things for another project,
I see.
and she felt guilty giving up pieces of different projects.
Right.
So she was waiting on this other group. So she gave those to me in August or September. And then we
So-
finally actually got them, after being promised them, we officially got them in September, right before, right the
The
day of our
meeting.
meeting, I think.
Yeah,
And then I was able to get those in the Google Drive. So it's still a little fresh, so we can see those
so we could now
documents.
share it
But
with,
now we could share it with them,
the
now that we
planning
have
commission.
it, yeah.
Yep.
But I don't know if we want to go ahead and give them everything or pieces, or if we, like, well, I don't know what,
might as well give them everything.
yeah. Is it, on some level, though, it's like, if it's too much information, it's like, delete, like, I can't hit no bandwidth,
Mhm, mhm.
like, you need
Yeah,
like a policymaker
was kinda-
summary,
I was kind of thinking that would be a really good next step, would be coming up with a distilled version of this that's easily digestible, but that hits the main points for just for the purpose of people really being able to engage with it, and not knowing that, like, not everybody that on the planning commission is familiar with, the type of mapping and stuff that's included in this, and maybe not, like, it might just not be as easily digestible to them as something that's sort of geared towards an audience that doesn't have experience thinking and talking about these things in this way. Whether that's something we do, or that's another project for one of Alexis's students or something like that. That's an interesting question. I think too, I brought this up last time, but I think I do think that what we have is pretty incomplete, although it's really, really well done on the students' end. It's just like, it's a data set from 2 months at the end of winter.
Yeah.
And my kind of 2 cents is that getting a complete calendar cycle of information about these areas would be really productive, in making sure that what we've got is really useful and good, accurate information. To that end, Samuel, one of Alexa's students, and I went out and hung some cameras last week, and are going to do the rest of the sites again next week. So we'll have all of our sites sort of reestablished. A few of them I had left cameras in over the year, the ones that were mine, but the ones that were Alexis's we had taken out. So we're putting all that stuff back. So we'll have cameras in all the same spots for close to a calendar year, missing a chunk of the summer,
Oh,
but
that's nice.
yeah.
I always know when you're going out with someone because they come to borrow my key. So I actually,
Oh, I-
because I have the key to the waiter room. So I always know someone's about to go out with you.
Yeah,
That would be pretty cool though. Alexis is on sabbatical from like January through December of this year, like one calendar year, which is rare for 25. She's out of the picture. She'd offered that she would still be around, but I don't think she really wants to take on students either at that time. I'm sure she has lots of other things to do. So we were saying like, oh, we could take on a student, but it's already week 5 of 12 of the semester. She's leaving, like it may be harder to get a student from Middlebury to do that through the Alexis channel at least.
So I guess the question becomes like, how much of a yank are we in to make a producible thing for people like the Planning Commission to be able to look at? Because, you know, there's a world in which if we're not in a huge rush for that, we kind of keep doing what we're doing for another year and come up with something that's very complete. But obviously that's like a year of the Planning Commission existing without having access to this information that I think could be very useful for them. So that's kind of I'm not quite sure where to
Well, couldn't we do both? Like, couldn't we just
yeah
a dialogue about it and be like, this is what we have now. This is what our plan is.
Yeah, this is a living document,
and we would like to have another meeting with you when we have more or we have consolidated or.
I think also think of it as like preliminary data, or does that, I mean, like sometimes when you apply for a grant, for example, you kind of say like, not only do I want this money, look, I've already done a lot of this project because I'm capable of doing this, right?
Yeah,
so on some level, yeah, we have this proof of concept. We've done a lot of work with these students. We have a lot to show for it. We could meet with them. We could send them the link of the presentation that the students did through Meet TV, right? So the students themselves could present essentially. And if we did it this semester, Alexis, I mean, she's still around even next year to hang out. I mean, she lives here, but so we could have her maybe come as well to help answer questions. And I think maybe help direct that conversation to say, what would, if we want to continue getting data over the next year, what do they want, right? What would be useful? And I think if we understood that from the Addison County Regional Planning Commission side as well, that would be useful, right? Like now that we have all this stuff that we kind of imagined was helpful, what do they think is helpful, right?
Yeah. It's also like the other part of that too is that we're, you know, this is like what we have right now is a lot of good information about 5 really important transition zones, corridors, whatever you want to call them, in the town of Bristol, of which there are like 100. So like, you know, to carry it, we can just make this a better and better document year after year if we have the sort of gumption and interest in doing so. And if it seems that the Planning Commission and whoever else may be interested in this is finding it valuable. So it would be cool to have sort of some affirmation that this is going to be useful to somebody so we can carry on with it. You know, whether that means we're going to keep getting students to help or what, I don't know, but it can, if we want to do it, this can just get better and better and more informative and more complete as we expand to different areas. And, you know, there's corridors that are worth people knowing exist all over this town and all over every town. And it will never have a complete map of them, but it can get more and more complete the more time we're willing to sink into it.
So maybe we should reach back out to the Planning Commission and see if they would like to meet, or if we would go to their meeting, see, or, you know, maybe give them the link to the documents, see if they're interested, that kind of thing. And then see where we can go from there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Does anyone want to do that? Am I doing that? Is someone else doing that?
Since you have the links to the Google Docs.
I could do that. Well, it's just anyone with, now I have anyone with the link can
Anyone
share
with
it,
the link can share it.
which
Seems
is
like
like,
a
oh
real
dear.
good Carolyn job right there.
That sounds fine. I just want to make sure, because sometimes it's like I need to delegate, and sometimes I don't want to do everything because I don't know what's best.
And I'll talk to Andrew.
I'd be happy to do that.
around. Yeah. At regional planning.
Okay, I will follow up with him. Do you want to do a joint meeting, or do you want to do where we're on their agenda and we just come?
With the planning commission?
Mhm.
We could just come to one of theirs.
Okay.
If they want to have it as a topic on their agenda.
Right, because I don't know if we need to have a whole meeting yet, right?
Probably
It's like,
not.
we're still just like, da, 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 we did this, here's our data,
Yeah.
what do you think about it?
Mm-hmm.
It's not like a full, like, we need to plan it together yet, kind of thing,
Right, I agree.
So,
Yeah.
I'll see if we can just get that on their agenda, and if he wants, we'll ask him, I'll give the docs, and then I'll, see if they want us to be on our agenda.
Yeah.
And we can offer that maybe Alexis could come with us if possible to that day.
Mm-hmm. Or like you say, link them to the students'
Yeah, Lynn's
presentation.
presentation, yeah. Yeah. Okay, sounds good. I will do that. Awesome. Should we go back to our tabled business?
Sounds good.
Yes.
Wanted
Yes,
to
we
make sure we
shall.
didn't finish up.
Yeah, I just
Okay.
had to take care of.
So
a few
now,
things.
in terms of the new TV person or minutes or whoever is wondering, we're going to go back in our agenda to new business 6A, to go back to talking to Aiden now that he's returned.
Yeah, sorry about
Okay.
that.
No, it's all good.
Man of many hats.
So we're just about to tell you about Saunders River Access.
Yeah,
And
Oh,
Kristen was
yeah.
gonna tell you about that, since that's
So
her
that's
project.
a town-owned property that is really designed primarily as a place for floodwaters to spill out over the floodplain and dissipate and help the town be more flood resilient. But it also serves as a point of access to the Nahaven River. So it's a very low-key town park. It's along Route 116 behind some houses. If you're driving south on 116, you look off to the river, you can see a kiosk way off in the distance at the edge of Alan Saunders' corner, hayfield.
okay,
Well, it's now the town's, but Alan mows it. And that's Saunders River access. And so there are also some research plots happening there, maintained by UVM to measure or monitor how much sediment and phosphorus collects on that floodplain during a flood event. So it's an area that's not designed for like kiosks and picnic
right, it's
tables.
not, it
and-
doesn't have an open space,
Yeah,
structure to it. It's
correct.
not
There
gonna
is
be
a
for-
kiosk though,
Just
now
that
that you
minor
say it,
kiosk,
there
yeah.
is a
Well,
kiosk.
well, just for point of reference, I imagine for like researchers and
Yeah,
people in the field, and so what you're saying is it's kind of like a point for metrics,
mm-hmm.
yeah.
And also just to, there's a river quarter easement on the property held by the Vermont River Conservancy.
Okay,
And there's actually two separate parcels. There's the original Saunders River access, and then immediately to the south of there is a parcel that was conserved by Paul Fuller and later purchased by the town. And so they're
okay.
connected and contiguous now and considered all to be Saunders River access. And there's a management plan that exists, co-written by this Conservation Commission and the Vermont River Conservancy, for that parcel, and I can get you a copy
Yeah, that
of
would be
that
great.
if you.
And that would, because it's written with them, because ours are non-existent or they lapse and we have to remember to do them. This one, every year, they have to do like bookkeeping and check in with it. So we
Yeah,
get an
they-
email almost every year saying like, is this still good? And then we say, sure, but you may be, if you're part of Parks Management, you may get those emails, I'm not sure.
Yeah, they inspect it once a year just to make sure there's no new building on there or something
Right,
like
yeah.
that,
Mhm.
yeah,
Great,
so.
But yeah, it's really hard to get to. You have to know how to get there.
Anglers do use it, anglers
Yeah.
and horseback riders and walkers,
Yeah,
yeah.
and just most of flood resiliency,
Mhm.
really, that's just by far the biggest.
so it's not, doesn't really have like a vehicle.
It does
substrate that
technically.
you could
Yeah,
get
you
there.
can
But now,
try.
no substrate,
Right,
correct, so
right.
there's a designated laneway through the hayfield that goes
Mhm.
straight east and then straight south along the hedgerow.
So unless you know, you don't know.
So unless you know, you
You
don't.
have to,
know.
yeah, yeah.
And if you're really, I mean, it's really subtle, you can see.
Even when you know, you kind of pass it like twice before, like, that must be where you turn, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Um,
Oh, and I'll send you the directions on how to get there,
Mhm.
with mile markers and all that kind of stuff.
Perfect.
But it's been really important in preserving that riverbank and keeping the water off 116 and
Yeah,
helping manage that. It's been really
I mean,
important.
it wasn't too long ago that we were in the midst of July and I was trying to get to a site and I couldn't get there past the Russell Tree Farm because
Yeah,
it was,
the river was in the road.
yeah, river was in the road.
Yep.
And then the other way, had to go all the way to go to Heinsberg, and they were flooded to
Yeah.
get down to where I needed to go to, which was the road that connects all the way to Dorset behind the town offices in Heinsberg. That was all flooded. And the
Mhm.
house I needed to go was right in the middle of it.
Oh,
And then I
goodness.
got there and their driveway was gone. So
No easy way to get there, yeah.
it was day one of that job.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah,
Okay.
and the last thing is the shack and picnic tables,
Oh,
which is very rare.
it's a
that it
FEMA
gets talked
buyout,
about.
that
Yeah.
little pull off with the picnic table on 116 south of, almost as you get to Sycamore Park, but
By
not
river,
quite.
right?
And next to the place where there's a fire department dry well,
Okay,
and the rope swing that people swing into the river on. It's kind of near there.
Yeah,
It's a FEMA buyout.
and we've had a few picnic tables there, like the scouts occasional picnic tables there and stuff,
Yeah.
and bikers eat lunch, like, bicyclists.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
Not
eat
like-
lunch there.
Yeah, we'll eat lunch there and stuff,
Okay.
on the town green, but we don't really do a lot of that because everyone else takes care of that.
Yeah.
No one ever asks our opinion on the town green. Okay, cool, so, anything else we should talk about? I suppose this is also sort of rolling up into the parks updates as well, it looks like.
Yeah.
I didn't notice that when I made the agenda, that those are overlapping.
Mhm.
But anything else we want to talk to Aiden about?
This, would you be in charge of like the bandstand at the gazebo at the park, that sort of thing? Would that be under your cover?
I am the parks manager, so,
That would
that is in my, like Holly Hall infrastructure and, Howden Hall
Mhm.
and any maintenance for Bristol Rec Club property. The hub, town green, that's all within my management domain. And then
Okay.
obviously the outer parks of Bristol proper and so on
Mm-hmm.
and so forth, and the spaces we discuss.
Yeah, so one thing that has sort of been made clear, because we have little kids, so I spend a lot of time there. And the gazebo has not been painted in a long time, and
And it's been tacked with spray paint.
yeah,
Oh,
that's
And
it is
it's-
also my concern is like a mother of like kids who like put their hands on it is lead.
Yeah,
It's a
sure.
big source of lead. So that's just something that I thought of recently. I was like, is that something that like the Conservation Commission should talk about, bring to the attention of the town? I don't know. Like it just sort of like occurred to me the other day as I was watching my 1-year-old like touch all the steps and then put his hands on my, oh my God.
Sure.
And like
Yeah,
I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm someone who thinks about that a lot and then immediately washes his hands
Yeah.
where their parents
yeah, of
aware.
course. Yeah,
And technically, our purview is, so we always just focus on the natural resources of Bristol, but we are, within our purview, the natural and historic resources of Bristol.
There's a narrative that I've come to know about the bandstand in terms of now the ADA accessibility is something that wants to be implemented for a redesign of the bandstand. Even though the history behind the bandstand, and catch me if I'm wrong, from my understanding is the bandstand that is there now is not the original historic bandstand to the town of Bristol. It has to do with the band of the bandstand and their memorialization of the name that's on the bandstand. The bandstand is only good for the band that plays in it, which is the Bristol band. There's talk about redesigning that bandstand. I don't know where that's going or what's being done about it. It does have lead on it. It is old. Jim.
Jim, you're muted. If you can unmute, you can have the floor.
Yes, I believe that has been settled. They had a survey done and the people want to leave it alone. And Zelly, as far as the lead, I do believe they had a test on that structure several years back, and I don't think it has the lead paint in it. I'm not sure. I could be wrong, but it's a good thing to check it
Well,
out anyway.
Yeah, I have
Maybe
I
check
have
it
a million lead strips at home, so I can bring some, because if it's anywhere near, like anywhere before,
Right.
was built anywhere before like the
Right,
80s,
but at least get it
74.
sealed
Yeah.
anyway.
originally had
Yeah.
lead paint on it. And I mean, like the second that's painted over, it's fine.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
encapsulating it is the way to
It
go.
was painted over about, 6-7 years ago.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
then anytime it chips, so the lead seeps into the wood.
Right.
So anytime that wood is exposed, basically the lead is
That would be a good concern to check out for sure.
yeah.
As far as the
Just
structure,
like there's
structure being redone,
it's
I
all
think,
over it all the time.
as far
like-
as the structure being redone, I think the people spoke loud and clear. They don't want it touched.
Okay, yeah.
Right, but like
Yeah,
just
good to keep on that lead.
Oh, yeah,
That's good.
of course.
and just
There,
paint.
yeah, it's due, I mean, the decking and the treads leading up to it need to be repainted. These are a few things on my punch list that are forever expanding even at this moment. It's definitely been recognized. I like also too, like Bobby Stoddard put in that live edge structure, I call it the fairy structure in the park, the wooden structure, and I went there to kind of mitigate some structural
Yeah.
issues temporarily, temporary Band-Aid, but I'm also coordinating with him now to set up a time before the snow flies to do some repairs and make that more robust, because I have a 7-year-old and a 12-year-old daughter, and they both like to rally around the park.
Yep.
Especially my 7-year-old, so.
And there's that ladder that's like tied.
Right, like
you know,
there's
like-
the aluminum ladder, like Bobby did that as a quick fix. And
Totally.
I've done projects with Bobby at Mountain Farm, so we go back. So yeah, it's something that we're engaging in terms of like
Cool.
trying to get like, there's some tagging that's been done on the bandstand and in the kid structure, so those are things that need to be taken out.
Yeah.
So thank you for bringing that up and to my attention.
Just as an aside, it's hard to believe that Aiden Linehan has children that old. Seemed to
I
be just a
know,
kid.
I know. I know, it's pretty, it's
Good luck
pretty
on the
amazing.
job, Aiden. Good luck.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jim, it's good to see you.
You'll do fine. You'll do
Yeah,
fine.
thank you.
Cool. Well, I hope we didn't give you too many new things to do.
It's all good, that's why I'm
Then,
here.
and then so we have this sort of standing business item that we leave usually that says parks updates, Eagle Memorial, Sycamore, Saunders River access, etc. And then updates, and often it's like updates ? And over the last several years, we've had someone in your position come into the meetings and kind of talk during that piece. That's something you'd be interested in doing.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yep.
Also, because
Happy to
you're a
come to the
Bristol
meetings.
resident,
yeah.
you could join the commission.
Sure.
Just saying. Just,
Well,
I don't want
I
to force
mean,
you to.
I
I'm
mean,
gonna
at the-
float it out there.
At the end of the day, the rec is in support of the commission, and the commission is in support of the rec.
Mhm.
And it's just a matter of communication around initiative and priority.
Mhm.
So, obviously there's other aspects of my job, like programs
Mhm.
coordinator, which is Bristol Youth Sports. Like right now, I'm learning about I'm in the throes of coming up with basketball season. And then just the day-to-day, coordinating with reservations of the facilities, and then also those repairs as well. So, whether they're outsourced or whether I can get Ted Lilas to put a couple of nails in it or whatever that may be. This is my 3rd week, so I'm happy to take other things on, but at the same time, I need to kind of see what my
Absolutely.
my workflow pattern
If you're
is
gonna
going to
end
be.
up coming anyway, though, to all of our meetings as a Bristol resident,
Sure.
it could help our quorum if you just
Sure.
joined.
I mean,
But just something to think about.
it's-
Don't think about it now.
I
Think about it in
mean,
like 3 months.
yeah, I'm happy. I want to be a part of it at the end of the day. So I'm happy to come to meetings and,
Yeah,
it makes sense. So,
something to think about, but not right now. Perfect. So maybe we'll move on to our accessible design for town parks. That sound good with everyone? Okay, so let's do that. So on to old business. We sort of rolled those other business items together, and now we're on to E, accessible design for town parks. Does anyone have an update on that? The meeting was canceled today, but I haven't heard anything about that since the last meeting we had, because I don't go to the individual meetings.
I
so.
haven't either,
Does
only,
anyone? Okay.
only that, yeah, not since our last meeting when the conceptual designs were
Yeah.
presented,
Okay.
so.
Anyone else?
I've dropped the ball a little bit on my participation, but I am going to pick that up again shortly.
Awesome.
Yep.
That sounds great. Yeah, he said they didn't have the meeting today because they were moving into a new phase or something, it sounded like almost, but I'm not sure. So we'll just try to read those emails, and if people can go to the meetings, that'd be great.
Probably by next meeting they'll be.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Okay, so we can move on from there. Bookkeeping item, this was one that I think we would want to hear from Helen and Zaylee mostly,
yeah, I
but Helen's not here.
Totally forgot about that.
Okay.
But I will resend those ones when I send these ones.
Sure, and just to remind people, we've been sending the minutes, but they haven't been getting posted. So we just want to resend those on not posted minutes and hope that the town clerk can get those posted for us, so. So make sure we don't forget about it. So I'm gonna leave it on the agenda for next time so we can check in on that again. And then that is pretty much it for things I had planned. There was no other new business. We don't have any events planned right now. Although next meeting, which will be the 14th, I think that's the last possible date in a month we can have it. From the calendar, yeah, the calendar falls such that it is the 14th. And that'll be, we're gonna have David Brin come from Vermont Valley Forest to talk about his work at Stuff Hill. And the new grant that he got for some, what was it?
Water
Water or
bars and
something?
erosion
Yeah,
control.
erosion control, that's right, yeah. So he's gonna come in and talk to us about that. And which will be really cool. We've been wanting to talk to him for like 6 or 8 months or something, so we're finally making it happen. We'll also then be in touch with Andrew LaRoe and Kevin Hansen to see what they want to do with wildlife stuff. And we'll look forward to some other updates on some of the other business we talked about today. Does that sound good? Okay, great. Okay, then, does anyone want to make a motion?
I'll make a
Make a
motion.
I just
Oh,
sorry
no.
for
Jenna, stop your
arriving.
motion.
Sorry for arriving late. I got caught up with trying to kind of beat daylight. But I did want to report that I think I gathered about 25 apples from the Sycamore mini little orchard there, primarily just from one tree. So we're accomplishing something, I think, with the pruning annually, and the two larger trees, they may take a while because they got more severely pruned just to kind of bring them down a little bit. But and they're also a little bit more in a shaded spot. However, it's nice to know that there was some production, and it was fruitful, to put a little pun in there.
They were delicious. I was down there, like I was saying before to the group, like I was down there making my initial walkthrough and we grabbed a few and they were delicious. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, they really are good. And if it all works out, I think they're going to be fairly good keepers. And there's an outside chance I might make an apple crisp to bring to everyone, or those that would be at the Zoom quarters, Zoom Central.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for that update. Okay. Now, do you want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Would you like to make a motion to adjourn? All right. Would you like to second that motion?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Oh, the ayes
Aye.
have it. The meeting is adjourned.